Hey, welcome to Mela Reads. It has been a minute since I have filmed. I haven't even checked how long it's been, but the good thing is I've kept reading. I think part of what I've discovered through trying to keep track of my TBRs this year and trying to hold myself sort of like in part of a booking community is that I'm a little bit chaotic in my approach to reading and what I feel like reading and how fast I can get to what I feel like reading. But something that I definitely felt like reading the past few weeks has been festive romances, rom-coms, and so I dug into quite a lot of those. I was smashing them out on audiobooks while life's been kind of hectic as it can be at this time of the year. But I thought, given that I would do a holiday themed little wrap up of the rom-coms I read or listened to, and I have not prepared anything for this video because I was just feeling like, it's been a bit of a break, an unplanned break, and I would just jump back into it, make it as easy as possible for myself. So you have a little bit of an insight into the chaos of me and my family with our chaotic live Christmas tree that we've been growing the past few years, and my little Christmas accessory of choice this year. So yes, we celebrate Christmas, but whatever your festive reason is at this time of year, I'm sending my positive vibes and relaxation and enjoyment because we are having a rough time out here the past couple years, aren't we? So I hope whatever it is that it brings you some peace and some joy. That said, I'm just gonna pull up my Goodreads and have a look at what I read that fits into this category and have a little chat. So the first festive rom-com romance that I read was Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellefleur. And so this one is queer. We've got a blind date scenario leading into the holiday season between Darcy, who is an actuary who's like super logic planning her life, and Elle, who is an astrologer but also a savvy businesswoman, but she's more of a creative sort of expressive person. And the blind date goes disastrously, but both of them have reasons for wanting to keep up the charade, at least through the holiday season. And I think this is a really common trope in rom-coms around the holiday season where, people get a lot of pressure from their families, like, oh, another year, like, you're single, like, where are the grandchildren, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I just thought that this was absolutely delightful. I think as far as, like, what it is, the genre of romance or rom-com, it was lighthearted and fun. It had some steaminess that was really great, and I am considering reading other books by this author, which is more than I can often say for like a pretty new release, like popular fiction sort of book. I feel like it's a bit risky reading them, so that's great. Written in the Stars. And then the next one, my disorganized brain and my slow technical skills. The next one would have been The Christmas Pact, which is an Audible original. From memory, it was only like a few hours. 2 hours and 54 minutes. It's another sort of holiday season setup where they agree to a fake relationship for the holiday season for their own reasons. I guess there's like a really major limitation in that time length. I felt that the characters were both like too good to be interesting. So you've got like the petite but lovely blonde, blue-eyed woman, and then the man who's like, pretty much everything she didn't know she wanted, and there's always chiseled jaws and like amazing hair and built bodies. I don't know if it's, again, shorthand because there's not much time to build characters, but like you can give them different physical attributes even in a 3-hour runtime. I felt like, yeah, I don't just want to see romances between like idealized like hot people, you know. So that was, yeah. I mean, for the trip to and from work, one day of listening, it was all right, but I sure wouldn't be racing back. And that was I think it was done by Keeland and Penelope Ward, who both smash out a lot of romance fiction. And you know, you can see there's something in there in like condensing that formula down, and some things that probably do work very well for those writers, but in amongst all of the festive stuff I've consumed, it's a bit of a meh. Inner Holidaze by Christina Lauren is more of I would say it's one of the better known holiday romance novels around, and it is a time loop at the start, and there's sort of this setup where there's meant to be like two brothers playing off each other, and I think with Cindy, she's the one that brought to my attention that the time loop isn't really taken advantage of as well as it could be, and also I don't think the brother thing was done particularly well. And again, you've got I can't even remember the physical description of the main woman, so generic good looking lady, and then, you know, the main man, again, he's like tall and he's got chiseled jaw. I can't remember if there was anything distinctive about him either, so it's just like, you know, good looking white folks falling in love. This one was not steamy, not spicy, which I didn't realize how important that is to me in a romance, but it turns out it's a really big part of what I'm there for. I feel like the chemistry and the lead up was good, but then it's like behind closed doors, which is like, why don't you go shove me out of that? I want in. On the whole, not really inspiring me to read anything else by that author, and I'm not going to go out of my way to like recommend it or anything for anyone anytime soon. The next one I've got is Mistletoe and Mr Right by Sarah Morgenthaler, I'm not sure, but it seems like this author has a series set in Moose Springs in Alaska, which is like a small town in Alaska, and you can see how that can play into the whole seasonal thing. I mean, I'm in Australia, so holiday season is warm and sweaty for us, but the idea of it being snowy and cozy is very appealing. It's very much permeated into our culture here as well. So we've got Lana. She's coming in from this like big business family, like business is life, like they are a family, but they're very much a business. And so even though she's quite young, she's got a lot of responsibility and expectations put on her, and she's never really felt like she belongs anywhere, and she wants to belong in Moose Springs, she's decided. And of course she's gonna fall in love with a local, even though there's this conflict with the townspeople. And I'd say this is one of the Christmas romances I read that had some other pretty genuine plot going on, which I can't remember at the time if I was like here for it or not, if I was just like, why are we talking about the development of condos? I don't know, but in a way, after some of something like the Christmas Pact that was so short and insubstantial, I think it was a nice inclusion, and it certainly does play into the relationship story. And also I liked the feeling that there's like other relationships and other people going on in this world. That's always nice for me, and I can see how it ties into other books in the series or like spin-offs and so on, and it's nice to have a world that's beyond just these like two people that have locked onto each other and that's all that it's about. So yes, again, that one was really chaste. There were like a lot of discussions about, are we just going to do this for the holidays? Are we going to make it work because Lana's still going to have to travel or whatever? And then Rick. I think Rick is a really good masculine name. But again, generic good looking white people. Yes. And I've lost my train of thought. Welcome to my brain. Oh yeah, was it just going to be a holiday fling? And if so, should they get down to it? Or if they're going to try and make it more of a long-term thing, then like they can wait. But like if you want to get it on, regardless, go for it. Do it. You're adults. You're consenting. Don't need to worry about timelines. Another, like, I think this was an Audible only that I listened to, The Package by Bromberg. Apparently a New York Times best-selling author that I've never heard of. This was like a 1 hour, and it's basically set around a meet cute, and then there's an interstitial moment, and then there's like a happily ever after scene. It was so fast, and the meet cute was like kind of well done, and well, at least the woman in it, who's, I don't remember any of their names because it was like an hour and a half long, but at least she was like curvy, and part of what they conflicted / built up rapport over was her pointing out that the lingerie company that they worked for wasn't really inclusive in terms of its sizing and styles for different body shapes, which, like, cool, I'm down with that. But the happily ever after was like too big and too good to be true after like one very brief meeting. So that was a thing I listened to. Yeah, could take or leave that again for sure. Another one I listened to was called Mangoes and Mistletoe by Adriana Herrera, and it is based on like a reality cook-off TV show premise, and the two women are contestants that both happen to have Dominican heritage, but they've come to America via very different pathways of having different relationships with their being Dominican. And so there's like assumptions and conflict based around that. Also, they are like chalk and cheese as characters, which is really nice to have that dynamic. Again, this was pretty short. This is like a novella length. So there is some cooking in it, and it's based around the holiday season, like the cooking competition, which is the mistletoe portion, and the mangoes is about how Cusqueya, one of the characters, sort of comes to embrace her Dominican heritage and incorporate it into her baking rather than trying to Americanize herself to fit in to the culture of the culinary world in America. So that's nice. And the smut is very nice. And you know what? They don't worry about how long it's going to be. They want it. They want some stress relief. And they're in a really high pressure situation, and they get it. And it's lovely. And I found the characters, like, there might be a possibility when you've got two women of the same sort of heritage that maybe, like, but they were just very distinctive characters, and that was done really well even in a very short time frame. So I would keep an eye out again for something by Adriana Herrera. Yes, I only came across it because I was looking specifically for Christmas romances, and it was one of the few, if not the only. Oh yeah, Written in the Stars was queer as well, so they're in the minority. Another one, and this would be the last one I would slip into this category, was Truth or Beard by Penny Reid, which is number 1 in the Winston Brothers series. I haven't read anything by Penny Reid before, but her books do look kind of like quite contemporary rom-com, and I discovered through listening to an interview with her that she designs her own book covers, which is pretty cool. So she has a lot of creative control because she's sort of, I think, self-published. So we've got Jessica that's come back to Tennessee after college to work as a teacher, and she's always had a massive crush on one of the Winston brothers that's a twin, and there's like a twin mix-up, which is pretty fun to play with, if a little bit, you know, it's iffy with the concern when you think you're making out with one brother, but it's the other brother. So that's a dog move. There is some good genuine conflict and tension in this relationship. A little bit of just like communication problems that could be resolved if you were like more mature, but some genuine conflict and stakes, and you know, again, there is like a pretty substantial other plot running through this, and the setup of other characters and other possible relationships going on, and like a whole sort of world building going on. There's not just like these two people, which I liked with the other one set in Alaska, Mistletoe and Mr Right. Yeah, so yeah, I can see quite a lot of similarities between those. This got really steamy, like straight up, and I was like, whoa. Didn't know I was in for that. I was okay with it. Then it backs off a lot. Like sad face. Bring me the steam. Stop being all worried about the fact that he tricked you, and just get it, girl. Anyway, that was nice. I would probably read other books in the Winston Brothers series, because you get a little bit of an insight into sort of the other brothers a little bit. And certainly something that I liked about this book is that how authentic the world felt. So we're in like some small town in Tennessee, and I don't know anything about Tennessee or what a small town in Tennessee would be like, but it felt very warm and genuine, but not romanticized. Like I found Where the Crawdads Sing, it's set like on the coast in North Carolina, I think, and again, it's not a place I know anything about, but it just felt like a real romanticized, idealized version of that world, and it's just like really focused on the food and the accents and the wildlife. But this kind of like, explores some of the ways, both good and bad, that culture can exist in a place like that, maybe, was my understanding, and I enjoyed that about it. So out of those like festive romances that I have read or listened to in the past few weeks, my definite favorite was Written in the Stars. So I'll pop them up because I found the will to record, the will to live seems to be chugging along, the will to edit, I think I'm gonna do it. So Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellefleur was definitely my favorite, just because I feel like it just hit all the right notes and ticked all the boxes for what I was looking for. It's possibly to its advantage that I read it first, because certainly by the time I read 7 sort of holiday romances, I was done. I'd probably hit it too hard. It's not like there aren't other ones, but I reached my, that was enough of that. But that said, it's not like I would rate them like declining in the order I read them. So, but it definitely coming in fresh, and the queerness and the characters being opposites. I enjoyed a lot of it. And it gave me a little bit of feels of One Last Stop, a little bit, in that sort of like possible ensembleness of the cast, and like just like feeling very modern, very millennial, very like something I can possibly understand as being very real and quite relatable. So that is always helpful, I think. And unlike the next one, which the Christmas Pact by Keeland and Penelope Wood, where the characters are still like in their late 20s, but I know the authors are not. And I feel like it read like how I think older people think younger people are, as opposed to how like younger people think younger people are, which can be very different things. I am not saying you can only write about your peer group, because that wouldn't give you a whole lot to write about, but it did feel a lot more natural in books like Written in the Stars, or in Casey McQuiston's work, than it did in a couple of these where I feel like they're just writing protagonists in their late 20s or early 30s, because that's like the age now roughly where people are sort of meeting in love, falling in love, for reals, for serious. They're meeting their one, they're settling down, and so I think that's why that age group is the focus of a lot of these stories. I'm completely rambling, but Written in the Stars was definitely my pick. I would go back for more Penny Reid, and probably, like I said, keep an eye out for Adriana Herrera, and the rest, nice way to pass the time at a stressful, busy time of year. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, if you've watched, and hope my chaos isn't too chaotic for you, but if it is, feel free to not join me again, and if it's not, then I would love to see you again soon. I might try and do another video today, because I've got some mojo, and you take care. And hope you get to spend some time with your loved ones after so much time apart from each other. And if that's no good for you either, then hope you get some chill time alone. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!